Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to another installment of DockDogs TV. I hope that your holidays were great. We have a jam-packed episode here. I took some of the questions that you emailed me straight to DockDogs, and I got some answers for you right from the source. If you have questions for future episodes that you'd like to email, go ahead and send them to me at the address on the screen. I'll be picking 2 or 3 of them each episode, taking them right to DockDogs and getting the answers for you. Also in this episode, I did my first Skype video, and I went out west and talked to a longtime DockDogs member to see how he's doing out there with him and his dogs and what his plans may be for the future. I think you'll enjoy it. But without further hesitation, let's get on with some of the questions that you have asked, and here's my interview with Grant. Hi, I'm Jim Zelasco with DockDogs TV, and once again, I'm with Grant Reeves, President and CEO of DockDogs. Grant, thank you again for seeing me.
Thank you, Jim. Good to have you back.
Well, it's great to be here, and I do have some questions that the viewers of DockDogs TV have sent in, and I want to get started because this is a packed episode here, so let's see. The first question here, this is a long one, so I'm just going to paraphrase it here, but basically, why can't clubs have their own DockDogs pool?
Well, actually, clubs have never been allowed to have their own DockDogs pool as part of our program, in that other than the Puget Sound Club, which was a grandfathered situation back in the early days when we were reaching out in terms of our expansion, Puget Sound had a pool already prior to us implementing the project of clubs not having their own equipment but us acquiring and then reissuing the equipment and leasing it out to the clubs. The reason mainly is we did have a couple of clubs prior to the implementation of our worldwide club program that had either members had the pool or a club and a board had a pool, and it created a tremendous amount of conflict. Where did the pool get to be at when that person left the club who had the pool? Who got to take over the duties the next time? And then the second part of that was it was a tremendous amount of work. People who actually are on the boards of clubs realize how much work goes into maintenance, putting up, tearing down the pools. And it created a huge conflict. And you know, as you're trying to grow the club program, you don't want the clubs owning it because there's a transition and a turnover through natural attrition and so on. So by having the equipment maintained, the natural investment or initial investment by the worldwide body and then released to the clubs, it really does keep continuity, consistency, and it really does minimize a lot of the conflict.
Yeah, it almost seems like it would be a neat novelty at first for all clubs. It'd be great to have your own pool, of course, but when you think about where you're going to store it, who's going to take care of it, who's setting it up the next time, that probably gets old pretty quick, I would think. I know it would with me.
It created tremendous amount of conflict, and people felt abused, and you know, we don't want to have that in our club program. We want people to be happy and enjoy the program and what they're doing.
Another one of the questions that was sent to us by one of our viewers is what changes are being made for 2012 to help those with shorter jumping dogs?
There's a lot of changes for 2012, but nothing that would benefit a longer jumping dog versus a shorter jumping dog. I mean, if I understand the question correctly, the only answer I really have is, you know, we've added the lower division in iron dog, which helps the smaller divisional dogs. I don't really classify any lower jumping dogs. We don't look at dogs that way in our teams that compete because we're a divisionalized program. You know, if you're titled as a 9'11" and under dog, you jump against 9'11" and under dogs. It's the same in speed retrieve. It's the same in extreme vertical. So I'm not sure I understand that we would do anything that would specifically help lower jumping dogs. Anything we do helps the community or the competition as a whole. We would never favor one over the other.
Another question was, do you think the people are going to come to Worlds with it being so close to Thanksgiving? I guess there's some concern from this writer here about you know, expenses during that time of year between the holidays.
It's an interesting question. You know, I don't know if there's a good time of the year. I mean, I personally have tried for the last 7 years of being involved in DockDogs to have my vacation in July 1st. It's very tough because that's the time of year DockDogs is busy, so I don't get a vacation. On the other side of it, you know, we are trying to have the World Championships accommodate the most wide variety of people that can happen. As you look at, so happens the regional divisional map is right here. When you look at the regions, we've got to move across the country and rotate it year after year. and get as many of the regional championships in we can, get as many of the events that we can in that also are other avenues of qualification in terms of invitations to the Worlds. And at the same time, we don't want to push it to Thanksgiving or after that in December and Christmas. So we're looking somewhere between November 1st, as we said, and the weekend before Thanksgiving, and in that time frame. But really, it comes down to competition. You know, they don't change the Olympics because of something else, and they don't change this because of, I mean, if you look at NFL football, it happens all the time. Are they going to stop having NFL football games and Pro Bowls and college bowls on that time?
Right. Grant, the new world qualifying criteria came out for Worlds. It looks like Worlds is going to be huge. And I know you talked about this in the last video, but until you see it on paper here, it's very exciting.
Well, what's really unique, and I guess it goes back to your original question of, you know, will we do something for the lower jumping dogs? And my answer, again, is we treat everybody equal. And one of the things about the new qualifying criteria is World Championships, instead of it being just about the big jumping dogs, the World Championships has now gone to that divisional format. It's about the biggest jumping dogs in each division, whether you're a novice, junior, senior, elite, super elite, or cadet, extreme, vertical, high flyer now, or anything in between, and the same in the speed retrieve. And in addition to that, you even have an iron dog lower division. The warrior division will be invited to Worlds. And what's really unique about it is the regional championships are divisional championships, just like nationals used to be, but the top 4 dogs from each division are getting invited to Worlds. And then you have these other opportunities to qualify for invitations, the ISE Best in the West, our new DockDogs sanctioned facilities program. Each facility that comes online is required to host a minimum of 2 national events a year. Well, those events themselves are going to be classified as a series, the facility series. So there's very many ways to qualify, but we're looking in excess of 300 to 400 teams being invited to the World Championships. And I really am excited about this because the fact of the matter, Jim, is you're going to have true world champions in each division. I mean, we're even looking at hosting the regional qualifier for the United Kingdom or over in the England area in April 15th this year. And those dogs will have enough time to get their pet passports and come and compete against other dogs in their division. So it's a true world championship. We're really excited about it.
I am too. It's a very excellent layout. If you haven't read it yet, you really need to, because in one quick sentence, it's anyone's game.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, Grant, thank you very much again for your time. Appreciate you answering these questions that people have written in. Don't forget, you can write in to DockDogsTV@gmail.com, and I'll take some of the questions that you send me, and I'll present them right to Grant here, and we'll answer them on video just as we have done here for another DockDogs TV episode. Grant, thank you again. Appreciate you having me here, and we'll see you again at the next episode.
I appreciate you coming in, Jim. Anytime you know how to reach me, night or day, we're here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Your questions answered straight from the source. If you have some questions for future episodes you'd like to email me, go ahead and send them right here to the address on the screen. I'll pick 2 or 3 of them each episode and take them right to DockDogs and get some answers for you. We'll be coming back with an interview out west right after these messages. Hey, if you're all about dog dock diving and enjoying the program that you're watching, then be sure to check out similar programs from Precise Video Productions. PVP's series called Dock Diving Tales evolved from the old Dog Dock Diving Events video review series that ran last season. This updated version has 3 distinct formats. The Special Features version covers just about anything from fun videos to unique information. The Memory Lane series looks back at events from years gone by. And the staple of the Dock Diving Tales format is the Event Review. It's where I recap an event that I attended with pictures, video, information, and details for anyone that's interested. You can find these videos and more on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Precise Video Pro and look for the PVP symbol. Or if it's easier for you, latest videos are also often linked over to our Facebook page. Just type Precise Video Productions and request to join today. welcome back to DockDogs TV. I'm Jim Zelasco. Right now I'd like to show you a Skype interview, my very first Skype interview I did, and we went out west and got some answers from a longtime member out there who's affiliated with the SoCal Club. Now keep in mind some of this information is dated. It was recorded before the end of the year. Nevertheless, it's a great interview and I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, I am Skyping with Craig Heverstick from SoCal DockDogs. Craig, how are you today?
Oh, fine. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How's the weather out in California?
It's terrible right now. I'm in my shorts, and I believe it's going to be about 71 today.
A lot of us in the Northeast here don't really want to hear that, but we're happy for you.
oh, thanks. Yeah, I know your pains. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I still have my sled. It's in the garage.
So I wanted to find out some things that are going on out west. You're gearing up for the Rose Bowl parade.
Yes, I was managed. I was able to get called back again this year to participate with the Natural Balance Float. And keeping in the tradition, Joey Herrick, the president, wants to go above and beyond from last year's float. You remember last year we had the dock diving dogs,
right,
and skimboarding bulldogs. So this year he created a surfing float. So we have about 65 feet of water in a big trough and a wave machine, and the dogs will be riding surfboards on the float as they parade down the parade route for about 3 hours.
That is so cool. Well, I remember the float from last year.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And you know, it was a big challenge because we were jumping dogs basically into a bucket of water. We had 16, or we had a 20-foot pool of water. We only had 16 feet to work with because of the slide factor. And we had approximately 6 to 8 feet width of pool.
and all that while you're moving.
You know, the movement didn't bother us at all. And it didn't even affect the dogs. The water was splashing around like tidal waves, and they didn't care. They wanted that toy. That's all they wanted.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to ask you about was you and Henry in the Hall of Fame. You got in there a couple years ago, and that had to be a pretty exciting moment. What an amazing dog for his age.
And he's not only amazing, he's a freak of nature. We call him Psycho Dog because we don't know what makes him tick. And we don't even know the breeder he came from. So he's a rescue dog found tied up next to a wall one year, and he just came out and went full bore. So he is a very amazing dog, and he's still going strong. He's 10 now. My goal this year with him is go out and continue having fun. I don't know if we can smoke those Malinois out of the water like we used to, but we'll give them a good run for their money.
Well, it's always fun, and people are always rooting for the veteran dog, I'm sure.
Henry actually lives with Barbara Henderson. That's her dog. I'm just lucky enough to handle him. We always joke. A lot of times in the finals, you add up all the dogs' ages that are in the finals, and they never quite come close to Henry's age.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. So, Craig, how did you and Henry begin working together?
That's kind of an odd story. I've known Henry since the first day I adopted Stanley. It's kind of funny. When I went to Barbara Henderson's home, she works with Chesapeake Bay Retriever Rescue to look at dogs to adopt. She starts bringing these dogs out one at a time. Well, here's this one, and here's that one, and this really nice looking white one comes out. And I said, oh, I really like that one. She's, oh, no, that's my dog. And this is before Henry even jumped off the dock. She goes, no, Henry's mine. You can't have him. So that was my first time I ever met Henry. Of course, I wound up with Stanley. And at the time, Barbara, was with her boyfriend, Russell Wallach, and Russell started running Henry in DockDogs, and he actually attended Worlds one year. So Russell made it to Worlds with Henry, and then over time, Barbara and Russell, kind of went their separate ways. Friends do that. And Barbara handed me Henry. Here, you're handling Henry this year.
Wow.
So that's how I got Henry.
So tell me a little bit more about Henry's personal life. What else does he like to do?
Well, Henry's just a normal, average dog. Most people in the DockDogs world see this wild, crazy dog that's chewing at Craig's hand, wanting to get the bumper, and flying off the dock. But outside that dock, he's just a teddy bear. He just hangs out at home, watches TV, plays with foster dogs. We take him to the beach, swim at Fiesta Island. He goes to work with Barbara a lot. hangs out the vet. So he just lives a normal dog life. He's just the opposite away from the dock. But once he sees the dock or even hears the announcers, he knows a DockDogs announcer from any other sports announcer in the world. When he hears that voice, game's on.
Well, is he? Does he exercise? Would you say regularly? Between you and Barb, or do you gear him up or exercise him special for DockDogs, or is he more of a couch potato?
He's a half and half. He's half couch potato, and when he does exercise, Barbara takes him swimming once or twice a week. That's about all he does these days. And
how about you have Stanley. How's Stanley doing?
Stanley's doing fine. And I just started running him an Iron Dog this year. He has a few joint issues, so I've been working on those, trying to get that under control. I found some very unique combinations of believe it or not, herbs and drugs to help him along. It's a challenge when you have a dog with joint issues. Yeah. So up until this last year, I've been taking it easy on him, but I discovered a magic spice for arthritis, and I ran him back in October. 4 days were very hard. I did Iron Dog with him for the first time, and he performed wonderfully.
Great.
So I'm going to run him an Iron Dog this year and get his Iron Dog title.
Well, great. Speaking of Iron Dog, what do you think of the new Iron Dog way it's set up now with the divisions?
I like that. I was hoping that would happen some year where we can start dividing the pack, and that'll hopefully that gets more people interested, because Iron Dog it's a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun if you can do the events back to back. You like the format for Worlds, where it's its own separate events. I really like that. It brings out the true Iron Dog. It truly is an Iron Dog competition, because you're doing your other big air EV stuff, but you're doing the Iron Dog separately.
You've been in DockDogs for how long now?
2006 is when I entered, and like most people, I showed up at an event with a dog with no crate. Just hey, go do this. It's fun. I had no idea that I'd be where I'm sitting now and have to buy a whole garage full of tents and crates and covers and go juice for the dogs. But it's been a great experience. I've learned so much in the community.
So Craig, tell me a little bit about yourself outside of DockDogs. What kind of hobbies and interests do you have?
Well, I work for a living, so I do work 8 to 5 or longer. I'm an environmental engineer. I do a lot of government work on military bases, so that takes up most of my day. I'm also into dog rescue, so I'll help dogs, as much as I can, transport, foster. In fact, recently I just had a great success story. I had a dog that was really shut down. I had him all summer long, bringing him back. And a family from deep down inside Mexico, an American family, adopted him, flew him down with them in their private plane. And he's living a great life with their 2 other dogs and 2 cats. So it's really nice to see a dog come back like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great story. Now, do you work with any specific breeds when you rescue, or is it general?
I'm a Chessie guy. So I work with Chesapeake Bay Retriever Rescue. So that's my alma mater.
Oh, okay, all right. You want to give any more information on that in case some local people are watching this, so that they need to help or can help you or whatever?
You can Google Chesapeake Bay Retriever Rescue. Go to our website. If you want to volunteer, we are always looking for volunteers. We're nationwide. We're a nationwide organization. So they need people to help foster, transport. Of course, donations are always accepted. But if you're looking for a Chessie, and you don't want to go to a breeder, check out the rescue. There's a lot of dogs in the rescue, and there's quite a few dogs that private individuals are advertising themselves that they want to find a new home for. Okay,
that's good. Good information.
So outside the rescue work, I boat a lot. I used to do a lot of scuba diving. It's hard to do all my hobbies now with dogs. So you have to pick and choose, and I think a lot of us are like that. We get hardcore into one hobby and then kind of feather off into another one. But it's nice to have a bag full of hobbies to go back to later on in life.
Yeah, let me ask you some tough questions, and answer them how you feel. DockDogs is going through some changes right now, and they all look pretty good, you know, and a little rough times in the past maybe, but, you know, what do you like about DockDogs, and also what don't you care for, or what do you think could be better?
What I like about DockDogs is it's the people. I mean, I love the sport as far as, you know, running dogs and, you know, trying to, you know, go home with that little ribbon or trophy at the end of the weekend, and that's kind of secondary. It's a nice thing to be able to live that moment, enjoy it, and, you know, make your dog a superstar for a few hours. But it's really the people I meet along the way. They're just wonderful people. They're there when you need them. I can't think of any other dog sport that's more fun than DockDogs. You don't have to get dressed up and walk around a ring. You can just wear whatever you want. It's the people that I really like about it. You know, even when people travel, I know there's always a DockDogs member somewhere on the travels that'll invite you in for the night, or, you know, for a dinner or something. So you have friends scattered across the country.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, is there anything you think could be better with DockDogs?
What could be better? Wow. Well, you know, until they started fixing up the docks, that was like kind of high on my list. And you know, and I know it's very hard to keep these docks and the gear in shape, because these Grant's moving these docks around weekend after weekend after weekend. So it's nice to see everything back in the shop and getting rebuilt. So that's kind of always been a small thorn in my side, especially when you go and you want to practice, like, you know, EV or speed retrieve, and where's the bucket of bumpers? We only have one, you know, and it's like halfway chewed apart. But I see progress being made there, and that's good.
All right, so Craig, you've been in DockDogs for quite a while now. 3 invitations to Worlds, attended twice, 1 Big Air at Worlds, almost won Iron Dog a couple of times. What kind of advice do you have for new people and veterans like myself who would certainly take it?
Well, I think the first thing on my list would be just have fun. Just keep the sport as fun as you can keep it. Don't get stuck in my dog is the best dog in the world, because you're going to spoil your fun. Keep it fun, but enjoy the moment. You know, walk away Sunday evening at the end of the event, you know, with a nice big head, you know, and with that ribbon. But, you know, enjoy the moment, live it, and then carry on with your life after that. That's I think that's very important. But you know, as far as training the dogs and keeping them healthy, I try to treat our dogs like they were human athletes. So we exercise them as much as we can, and I love swimming them. I think swimming is the best thing. Stanley, when I can do it, when the weather cooperates and it's not raining, he swims half a mile twice a week, continuous. You know? And I got him trained now. I can walk down the beach and he swims beside me. I turn around, he comes back the other way. So you know, keep the dogs loose and exercise. During an event, we try to keep their energy stores up, you know, by using, you know, various products on the market. You know, just like a human running in a marathon or anything like that. You know, they're keeping the carbs and keeping the energy stores in, so that they don't die at the end. Right. And you know, when the weather's cold or the water's cold, I've learned this a few years ago. We now put wetsuits on our dogs. You know, it can be 70 degrees outside, but you know, if the water temp is, you know, 65 or lower, the dogs do get cold, and they're going to use up their energy to keep themselves warm, and you want that energy so they can power and fly. Right. So you know, we'll throw a wetsuit on the dog just to keep them warm. Yeah, I think, you know, I've been lucky. I have 2 lucky dogs, Stanley and Henry. So a lot of what we do, it's luck.
All right, I'm talking with Craig Heverstick with SoCal DockDogs. Craig, it's been great talking with you. I really appreciate your time. This is the very first of what I hope will be more Skype interviews with people.
Great. Well, thank you for the opportunity, Jim.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime, and we'd like to have you back again, too.
And anytime. Just give me a ring.
Great. Well, there you have it. Another DockDogs episode in the books. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget, you can email suggestions, questions, comments right here to the address on the screen. And again, I'll take 2 or 3 of your questions that you have for DockDogs directly, take them straight to the source and get some answers for you. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again on another episode of DockDogs TV. Jump big.